Hey guys, are you Yeti to party? I got this new Stampin' Up set. It's new from the holiday catalog, and I cannot wait to show you this fun treat box that we're going to make today. So I found these vanilla wafers. They come in a big tub, actually. Let me just show you really quick. It's a tub, 22 wafers, this size, 11 chocolate, 11 vanilla. And I got this at my Meijer, which is a local discount store. You might have them. They're like kind of like super Walmarts or super Target. They're grocery store and discount store together. And thought, how much fun would those be for treats? The colors of the package were working perfectly with some Yeti cards I was making, and I knew I needed to do a treat box. So that little tab top box fits these wafers, vanilla or chocolate, perfectly. And let's get started. We're gonna stamp our Yeti, and we're gonna stamp first and let the ink dry for a little bit because we're gonna use soft suede. I love to stamp in brown ink, and Stampin' Up does not have a non-reactive ink, but soft suede will work if you just use a little caution. You want to stamp, give your images some time to dry. Yeti to Party is a photopolymer stamp set, so we're gonna get our Stampin' Pierce mat, and then some scraps of basic white cardstock. And we're gonna stamp, give it a little bit to dry, and then we'll come back and color in just a little bit. So I found with my Yeti, the best way to get the best impression with this stamp was to put the stamp face up, bring the ink pad to the stamp, and then just gently stamp and apply some gentle pressure, but more just walk your fingers gently and give the ink some time to transfer. I was having some trouble getting the fingers on his left hand to stamp. All right, let's see how we did. Beautiful image. And that was the best way that I found to get an entire complete image with nice even lines, was to ink up really good by bringing the ink pad to the stamp, and then to just give it some time and let the ink transfer. Not too much pressure though. All right, we're going to do lots and lots of these little presents. I've got, let's see, what do I need? 3 big ones and 3 small ones. The little accessories are right from the Yeti to Party stamp set. You get lots of fun things. The presents, and then the little Christmas tree. And we are going to turn that into a party hat. So Christmas tree / party hat. And we've got these little banners, and which could also be a birthday crown. I think it works. And then our little presents. Oh, come back here. 2, 3. All right, there's all of our elements. I think we stamped everything. Let's give them a second to dry. I'm going to put them over here with my Stampin' Blends, and we'll work on the box base while the ink dries. The base for this box is 7.5 by 8.5. This is the template. The template photo will be in the project sheet. The project sheet is at kitchentablestamper.com. And we are going to use our Simply Scored tool to give this box its shape. You're going to start on the 7.5 inch side and score at 1 inch, 3.5, 4.5, and 7. Going to rotate once to the right, score at 1, 6.5, and 7.5. And we'll work this with a bone folder and trim it up according to the template. Okay, score lines are nice and crisp now with the bone folder, and we are going to trim according to our template. So I like to start across the bottom here. We've got the 1/2 inch panel in our right hand. We're going to cut from the bottom right corner, the first little rectangle, just cut that out. And then the top rectangle and square, get a little angle and cut those out. Now you're going to liberate the tabs across the bottom. I like to do kind of straight along the wide tab and an angle for the inside tab. take a little bit of bulk out. So straight along the wide tab, little angle on the inside tab. And then last one here, same thing. And those are the bottom tabs of our box. Now the top tabs, we've got our tuck tab and the first one from the right. So we're going to cut straight along on this wide side, cut a little bit of an angle on the inside flap, and then we're going to cut off the rectangle at the top. Cut down, you can go on a little bit of angle there across the wide one and cut the two wide rectangles off. Now don't cut the other tuck tab off. We're gonna remove those two wide rectangles. Cut off this little rectangle here. Can bevel that just a little bit for the tuck tab. And there is our box. I'm gonna grab a corner rounder and round the corners of my tuck tab. Now besides the rounded corners, I like to take a little bite, little thumb notch out that front panel, so it makes it really easy to grab that tuck tab and pull. So let's get our take your pick tool. We're gonna line up on the centering ruler. So the centering ruler is the 0 right here. And we're gonna line up and make it equal from the 0 out to the left and the 0 out to the right. And so that is going to be at 1 1/4. Then we'll mark 0. So that's the center of this panel right here. And with a little 1/2 inch circle punch, this is the retired Stampin' Up! One. You can use whatever you have here, little heart punch, just using one of those little bubbles, loops at the top, or an oval, a circle die, whatever you've got to do that little notch. A little bit bigger punch would be okay too, a 3/4 inch circle. Now let's add our adhesive to assemble the box. You're going to run tear and tape adhesive down the long glue tab, the side glue tab, and then you're going to run your tear and tape adhesive on the inside of the bottom front panel and the outside of the bottom back panel. There's your adhesive placement for this box. Now we can peel the liner off the adhesive and assemble the box. I like to start with the long edge, and I just line up the corner on the score line. And same thing at the bottom, line up the corner and the score line, and then burnish into the tape. And we're going to fold the tabs in from the sides and then back to front, front to back. All of our seams go down the back of the box now. To burnish that adhesive, just grab your bone folder and just gently burnish that adhesive. All right, there's our box. I'm going to go ahead and slide aside. We're going to add a little texture to the front of our box. So you can see behind our Yeti is this fantastic whimsical Christmas tree pattern. This is a new 3D embossing folder. It's in the holiday catalog. It's just a fantastic, fun embossing folder, something new and different from anything that I have. I was really excited about it. It was one of the first things that I ordered. We're going to start with one, and then our embossing folder. Got a piece of balmy blue cardstock here. This is 5 1/4 by 2 5/16. And we want the pattern to run up and down here, and we want to emboss, not deboss, although we could just turn it over. And I like the look of that. Folder goes in, fold first. On top goes number 4 plate. And give it a crank. Look at those fun whimsical trees. Aren't they cool? And then here's our pattern panel. Just a really cool little touch. Perfect magical forest behind our mythical Yeti. Let's grab some liquid glue and glue it to the front of the box. Now we might have to touch up our little thumb notch here, depending on how high this is. Be careful that you don't put glue all the way up to that top edge in the center. Yeah, see, we're gonna have to trim our hole just a little bit for the thumb notch. Isn't that texture just amazing? Love this folder. If you hadn't noticed it, check it out. It's in the new holiday catalog. There. Now our thumb notch is complete again. I think it is a perfect time to stamp. Our images are dry. Let's let our glue dry. We can go ahead and put our treat in. If you make this box and find something else that fits, we like to know. You can share on the Kitchen Table Stamper Craft Social, the Facebook group. Link is below the description. All right, now we're going to color using a combination of light crumb cake, then color lifter. That's our Yeti. We're going to use the color lifter over the light crumb cake to get that kind of fuzzy texture on our Yeti. We've got light Calypso Coral and dark Petal Pink, dark Mint Macaron, light Soft Suede, and dark Balmy Blue. I'm going to do my Yeti first because that's the thing where I think you might want to see the technique. And then we're going to speed up for all the coloring because our hat, our presents, our banners are all just very simple coloring in. I didn't do any blending, any shadowing, or any techniques there. But the Yeti is completely different. And let me show you what we did here. I started with the light crumb cake. And I'm going to go in little circles and just color in our Yeti. And we want to keep those little circles kind of small and loose. We're going to do the whole Yeti with crumb cake in these little circles. And it doesn't matter if you've got tiny little peaks of white coming through in between those circles. They're kind of small circles, but they're loose circles. And the white is a-okay. It's going to contribute to that fuzzy Yeti look that we're going for. So I'm going to just keep on, and I'm going to fill in this whole Yeti head to toe with these little kind of overlapping loose little circles. You'll notice that I'm also being very careful as I get to that stamped line that we don't super saturate the cardstock right up against that soft suede ink. As long as you're careful not to melt the ink with the alcohol ink from the marker, you've given it a little bit of time to dry, you should be able to successfully stamp your images in brown. If you've got a brand new marker, if your crumb cake marker is super juicy, then you have to be even a little bit more careful when stamping with an ink that is reactive, like the Stampin' Up! Classic inks. They're water-based and they are reactive to the alcohol. So just know that you're going to need even a lighter hand if you have a brand new or relatively new or relatively unused light crumb cake marker. Mine is very, very well loved, so I can get right up against those lines. If yours is new and it's really applying a lot of ink to the cardstock, don't get right up against the lines. Bring your crumb cake ink close to the edge, but not touching the soft suede. If you've got a very inky new marker, the ink will travel through the fibers of the paper right up to the edge. And with a technique like this where we're making a fuzzy Yeti, you are not going to want to have it all completely colored solid anyway. All right, so now you can see we're going over with the color lifter and we're doing those same kind of small but loose, a little bit open circles. We're going right over top of that light crumb cake. And as you watch where I've colored over with the color lifter, you'll see that it's starting to look kind of fuzzy and maybe a little bit felted, a little bit furry. Look at the difference. So you'll see the open circles here in just crumb cake. And if you look here as the color lifter, it's doing its thing. You're starting to get that fuzzy look. So our Yeti looks like he's got some curly little fuzzy fur going on. And again, with the color lifter, you want to be careful as you're getting close to that soft suede line. You don't want to melt and blur your line. All right, I'm going to finish going over this entire crumb cake Yeti with the color lifter, and then even some little wild scribbles so that we don't have visual rows of curly little fuzzy fur. Instead, I'm going to break things up a little bit by just doing a kind of a scribble. And there's your fuzzy Yeti. So cute. Let's do his cheeks now too. Tongue and the cheeks, light Calypso coral. And then we're going to use the color lifter to push the color on those cheeks back. Be careful as you get close to your mouth or the lines of the face. You don't want to blur the face. And for his little horns, we're going to do light soft suede. There's our Yeti. Now for the rest of these presents and the banner and the party hat, I'm just going to color in. I'm going to do a combination of different colors together for the little gift boxes, for the presents, and I'm just coloring and just touching with the marker, not getting too saturated because we don't want to blur the brown ink. I'll color these in. I'm going to cut everything out using my paper snips. The Yeti to Party does not have a die set. Feel free to let Stampin' Up! Know that you, that you really wish you had one, because I sure do. But I'm going to just color these in, just getting a solid color, no shading, no nothing, and then cut them out, and I'll meet you right back here. All right, there's everybody colored, and now I'll cut these guys out. I'm just gonna leave a little border of white all the way around. When I'm not paper piecing, I do leave a little border. I'm gonna get these guys all fussy cut. I'll meet you right back here again. All right, we're down to our last piece, and I wanted you to see here, this is the party hat, and we're gonna go ahead and just cut the little trunk right off the Christmas tree and trim it out. And that is now a party hat. Haha, too cute, right? Let's do a dab of glue and put that on the top of Yeti's head so I don't lose. There is our party Yeti. All right, we'll slide these guys aside for just a second, and we're going to stamp our greeting. So I got soft suede ink and the Get Yeti to Party, it's your birthday greeting. I went ahead and I die cut my banner. This is from the Stylish Shapes dies, and it is the wider, larger of the 4 banners. There's a little narrow set and a little wider set. This is the largest of the wide ones. Let's get our Stampin' Pierce mat back here and apply our greeting a little bit to the right of center so we have room for some twine and presents. I love this. All things punny. You guys had to know that this one was going to get me, right? Get Yeti to Party. It's your birthday. Got some Designer Series paper. It's from the new Gnome Suite. I love the B-sides of the gnome paper. You won't see me do too much with the gnomes. I didn't get them. I've liked previous gnomes better. But the paper is really fun, and the B-sides are going to be featured in the Yeti to Party Stamp-A-Stack card class that's coming soon. Got a piece that's 3/4 by 3.5, and I'm just gonna do some chicken lips on the end here of our banners. It's got kind of a Nordic, balmy blue Nordic with snowflakes and some gnomes on the back. We're gonna get all these things applied to our box now. I think the first thing we should do is tie some twine around this banner with our soft crumb cake Yeti. I thought the twine was the perfect touch. I'm just going to wrap and tie a really loopy bow. The bigger and loopier the better. Here we can always adjust after we get the presents all arranged. Yep, it's a perfect touch with that fuzzy brown Yeti. Oh, ribbon scissors, my paper scissors just bounce off even off of linen thread. It's crazy. All right, liquid glue. I'm gonna put a little bit in the center of my banner, a little bit in the center of my greeting, and then we'll arrange those guys. I want about, I don't know, 3/8 of an inch from the bottom, and I'm going to tip the designer series paper behind the banner so it shows peeking out in the like cleft of the banner there. Pretty cute, right? Now we need lots of dimensionals. Got both sizes here, and we're going to be careful. Our Yeti's going to have fingertips off the edge of the box, so avoid that area. But we want to support him kind of well. I'm going to probably put 5.5 dimensionals on this dude. All right, there's our Yeti. Don't cover your greeting. And little presents. Let's get one of the pink ones and one of the green ones. I'm gonna add those right over the bow. So cute. Now the banners, we're gonna put them on with liquid glue. Right up in the corner. And lots more dimensionals on each one of these little presents. All right, dimensionals are all sticky. Let's arrange these presents in Yeti's hands. Just love this little treat box. I hope that you do too. Just pop these guys on, and let's do a little bit of embellishment. If you have not seen these fine sparkle adhesive back gems, you need to take a look at those. Stampin' Up has been coming out with some really cool embellishments lately, and this one is awesome. We're gonna add some of these pale papaya dots, one on the top of the hat. Use the take your pick tool, makes it easy. And then a couple down at the bottom by the presents. And that's it. There's our Yeti to Party wafer box. If you've got any questions, you can email Marisa at kitchentablestamper.com, and to shop Stampin' Up 24/7, buzz over to marisaAlvarez.stampinup.net and click shop. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.